Dave has been looking at what was missing for Arsenal yesterday.
Yes, Arsenal obviously without their first choice centre-backs, as we've been talking about, but from an attacking point of view, it was a struggle for Arsenal. Let's have a look at how their season ranks against some of the other games. There was a lack of cohesion, definitely, in the final third, but was that down to a taxing week with victories over Spurs and the game against Bayern Munich as well? Let's take the Chelsea game then in the context of their whole season. 13 Premier League games in. They only had 8 shots in the match at Stamford Bridge. That's the lowest out of any of their games, so that ranks 13 out of 13. They had 23 touches in the Chelsea box, and that ranks 11th, equal 11th of their games this season. And you can obviously see from set plays as well, one of their real strengths, not a single chance created from a set play by Arsenal in that game against Chelsea. And obviously they played with an extra player as well for 52 minutes plus of that game. So not so sharp in attack. And we also have to have a look at the Arsenal centre-backs and spotlight them as well. William Saliba added to the injury list ahead of kick-off, meaning Arteta started with a relatively untried central defensive pairing of Mosquera and Hincapié. And when those two have started together, Arsenal have conceded a cumulative 10 shots on target. Is that a worrying sign going forward for Mikel Arteta if Saliba and Gabriel continue to be out for a significant period of time?
Now, though, to the Super Sunday clash at Stamford Bridge, where Premier League leaders Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by 10-man Chelsea. Mikel Arteta's side now have a 5-point lead over second-place Manchester City, with Chelsea just a point behind in third. It was billed as such a huge fixture. In the end, you were thinking, right, a draw, yeah, maybe I could have seen that at the beginning, but when they had Chelsea having Moises Caicedo sent off in the 38th minute, how do you look at the result in the end? Do you go, well, hold on, this is a missed opportunity for Arsenal, the fact that they were playing against 10 men? Or do you go, well, actually, it was a really good and impressive performance from Chelsea?
It was a good performance from Chelsea. I thought Chelsea were outstanding. I think probably with 11 players on the pitch, they might have gone on and won the game. They started that well, but they were fantastic with 10 men. Arsenal, you could say it's a missed opportunity, but they've had a heavy week, Arsenal. They've had a lot of football against some big teams, and they've had some positive performances. So I think at the end of the day, both teams would have took the point and moved on. I think Caicedo was running the show. I don't know why he's made the tackle. He's obviously heated and got, you know, wanted to stamp his authority to say, I'm the best midfielder. There's not a comparison between me and Declan.
Because there's a lot of talk about the two of them.
And they're two outstanding midfielders who've had brilliant seasons that are proving their worth to their clubs, and two sensational midfielders at the moment. But there's a bad tackle from Caicedo. I think VAR made the right decision. He's over the top of the ball on Marino, and yeah, it was disappointing because I rate Caicedo. I think he's had an outstanding season and he was bossing that midfield. But I must say, and we might speak about him, Reece James was exceptional.
Yeah, we will. We're going to focus on Chelsea in just a bit, but just to continue with the chat about Arsenal, I want to ask you about Mikel Merino as well, who actually continues to impress up front, despite that, of course, not being his natural position. I mean, what have you made of him in that role?
He's been brilliant, to be fair. When he first came, I think you always looked at him as a midfielder, and that probably is his position. But I think now he won't play midfield. He'll always be that attacking striker. And you know what? He's put pressure on Gyökeres, who's coming back. And Jesus is going to put pressure on Gyökeres. But if he keeps delivering like that, Gyökeres, you don't care how much money you've paid. And I know you're a different kind of striker and you help the team when you're running in the channels, but Marino's scoring goals, and he's a threat from scoring goals. So all he can say is keep doing his job and make it hard for Mikel Arteta to leave him out of the team. But yeah, he's been outstanding. I really do like him. He's very impressive.
A bit of a quiet game, you could say, for Bireze, but I suppose he's performing, you know, more often than not when he is starting. What did you make of Gyökeres when he did replace him?
Yeah, Gyökeres looked lively. There was a challenge on Sanchez where the Chelsea players went round him, but I want my centre forward, and I know I would have been going in for that tackle, because you're a centre forward. You want to make an impression on the game. Not every game Eze is going to be at his very best. You know what I mean? In the North London derby, he was outstanding. But yeah, it was good to see Victor Gyökeres back on the pitch, and I do think he gives Arsenal a different one. This is the challenge. He has to go for it. In my eyes, I've seen someone who I admired for many years, Ian Wright. He would have took the goalkeeper and the ball into the back of the net. So as a centre forward, you have to go for that. So I make him right. But yeah, he looked lively and he looked a threat. But you know he's been out for a bit. So they've got good attacking options. They had Jesus on the bench, who's just come back from injury. One thing, Madueke they brought off the bench. So they've got players that can come off the bench and make a big difference. I think at the end of the day, Arsenal be happy with that point. Not having Saliba as well, that was a huge blow.
Well, that was the thing, because I think an hour before kick-off, when the team news dropped, of course everyone knew they'd be without Gabriel, but the fact they also didn't have Saliba either, so it was Hincapié and Mosquera teaming up in those centre-back roles. They coped well, is that how you felt?
Yeah, they coped well, they did do well. I think it's a different game if it's 11v11, but they did cope well. And Hincapié was lucky with a few tackles and a few elbows that he did, but I don't think it was ever a second yellow card. I just think they did well. Them two are... What Arsenal have bought is good backup to Saliba and Gabriel. These two are never going to be... I shouldn't say never be as good as them, but at the moment, as a pairing, they did all right. But Gabriel and Saliba are one of the best pairing there around in Europe at the moment. So, as I say,
reflecting
a good
the team's
result.
growing
Missing so much
chemistry
key
and
players
hunger
for
to
Arsenal,
secure
but
another
maybe when it
vital
went
league
to
victory.
10, they could have gone on and won it. But I thought Chelsea were outstanding. Huge credit to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I just gutted Esteval went off because I do like him.
Okay,
Yeah.
We'll talk about Esteval a little bit later. We're going to focus on Chelsea's performance later on in the show as well.
Right, well, it was a busy Super Sunday for Anthony Taylor at Stamford Bridge, which is where we start. The main talking point, gents, was the red card for Chelsea midfielder Moises Caicedo following a VAR review at the monitor for this tackle on Mikel Merino. Look, a challenge using excessive force and endangering an opponent. So, Dermot, when you look at these pictures, did Anthony Taylor really, have any other choice?
No, and I think when you see the tackle, it is bad, it's a red card. All I can think is Anthony doesn't see the point of contact. He plays advantage. He sees a foul, he plays advantage, comes back, he yellow cards him. VAR's done him a massive favour because he's alerted him to go and have a look. He's had one look, come back, it's a red card.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree there. I think the challenge from Caicedo, it is a red card challenge. Even when I saw it at normal speed, I was like, he's in trouble here. And yeah, it was aggressive, but I don't think that he tried to hurt Moreno. That's one thing I want to stress. I don't think he tried to hurt him. I think it was just a bit more reckless and clumsy more than anything else. But then Anthony Taylor there, like Dermot said, he played advantage. He's 10 yards away. He didn't look at that and think that was worthy of a yellow card even. That's why he's played advantage. If he thought it was a bad challenge, he would have stopped it straight away. So I found that a bit strange because he's so close to what happened. But obviously then he gave him a yellow card. Did he give him the yellow card because maybe he wanted to get it reviewed, or I don't understand why he would give him a yellow card because it is a bad challenge.
Well, it was going to be reviewed anyhow, Joe, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I think for me, I don't think he sees a point of contact. I think that's the key thing. If you watch Anthony, he recognises it's a foul because he plays advantage. Sibling's advantage. There's no doubt Arsenal have got the ball. At that point, game goes on. It goes out for a throw-in. He comes back then. He gives him a yellow card.
But why does he give him the yellow if he hasn't seen it?
Well, he's seen it the foul.
Yeah.
So in his view, he can always come back for a yellow card.
Okay.
I think if he thinks it's a red card, you're never going to play advantage. It's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
So for me, I think he hasn't seen the point of contact. I think that's a key issue.
Okay.
So the ball's gone on, the game's gone on.
Yeah.
He's come back, stop play for the throw-in, come back yellow card. At that point, the VAR said you need to have a look at this. And there's no doubt you've only got to see one replay.
Yeah.
You see the point of contact, and it's always going to be a red card.
Yeah, and look, Enzo Maresca, he actually said Caicedo deserved his red card, and he was unhappy with, though, the lack of consistency from referees, having been on the receiving end of double standards.
It's a red card. But why Bentancur against Reece was not a red card? Spurs away. So us, as a manager, we struggle to understand why they judge in different way. Mo, it's a red card, yes. Bentancur is a red card, yes. Why they don't give them red card? So it's just that we struggle to understand. Then it's red card. The reality is that it's a red card. But why they judge in different way? And the Trevor one, I asked the referee, he said to me that it was not elbow.
So look, guys, what do we make of these comments? Because look, it's the tackle he was talking about, Rodrigo Bentancur's tackle on Reece James. This was Chelsea's win over Tottenham just last month. You both said at the time, should have been a red card. How do we get consistency with these tackles then, Dermot?
Well, we were consistent. We both said red card.
Yeah.
I said on Monday morning red card, and I think since then the PGMO have acknowledged that they feel it should have been a red card. Consistency is great. I say this every time you ask me. Consistency is great as long as you're right, but to be consistent there, you've then got to give a yellow card for Caicedo, which we know is wrong. So you can't be consistently wrong. At least give somebody credit for going, yeah, I got that one wrong, I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to move on and be a better person. It's when you're a player, you miss a penalty. You don't keep missing a penalty to be consistent, do you? You practice and practice and practice to get the next one right.
Yeah, as long as you do get it right, then you get taken off penalties.
Yeah.
But I like what Maresca said there. That was very clear and honest. And that's what I always talk about, the consistency of it. And like Dermot said there, we was consistent in what we said. But again, when you're in a game, when you're playing against these teams and it happens so close to each other, it irks you because you're like, well, that didn't happen last week. Why has it happened this week?
Yeah, but you need to be balanced, OJ. That you have to acknowledge that if somebody makes a mistake, you can't keep making that mistake. You've got to learn. You know, when you're a player, you couldn't miss a penalty every single week. Sooner or later, you were going to be.
No, I understand that part, but saying sorry every single week and then doing it every single week, then it becomes a problem. That's my thing. If I keep making mistakes as a football player, at some point I'm going to get taken out of the team, right? And I'm saying sometimes there has to be repercussions for continuous bad decisions.
I'm going to say sorry and butt in because we want to move on to this next one. Come on, guys. Right. Maresca also thought Piero Hincapié should have been sent off for this challenge on Trevor Chalobah. Anthony Taylor gave a yellow card. Chalobah pointed out the evidence. Have a look at his cheek here. Look. Okay, that was dramatic, but if you look at his cheek, why didn't VAR send him to the monitor on this one?
I actually think this is a yellow card, and I think you have to be very careful that you don't get seduced by seeing looking at his cheek, because you have to judge the challenge. The player's leapt, he's used his arms as leverage, he hasn't swung his elbow, he hasn't used it as a weapon. He's caught him, there's no doubt about it. It's a flailing arm, he's caught him. It's an unfortunate injury, but it's a reckless challenge. It isn't a challenge that he's gone in to inflict hurt and pain on that player.
You're on form today. I completely agree with that. I've been in many situations like that where you're looking at the ball all the way, and then, like Dermot said, you use your arms to gain leverage to get up there. It's just an unfortunate, clash. And obviously, there you look at Chalobah. He's come out and he's got, a big bruise on his face, but it definitely wasn't intentional, and it definitely shouldn't have been a red card. It's the right decision.
Okay. Right. This one. Here we go. Another big call in the second half. So, Victor Gyökeres clattered into Robert Sanchez. Look, it was a great save from the Chelsea keeper. Again, VAR. I thought Anthony Taylor's decision of yellow card was the correct decision. There was a lot of excessive force, Dermot. So, look, what stopped this being a red?
I just don't think it's a red card at all. 100% don't think it's a red card. I was forward. That ball's broke loose. Sanchez has lost that ball. Gyökeres, every instinct in his body is, I can score a goal here. He's gone to score a goal, he's gone for that ball, he's entitled to go for that ball because it's loose. The goalkeeper gets there a fraction of a second early and there's a collision. There's going to be a collision, but it's a yellow card at most.
I don't even think that was a yellow card. I was shocked that was even, talked about, because ultimately, I think you need to take things into context as well. The pitch is slick, right? There was a great shot there, great save as well from Sanchez. But now the ball is loose, right? And if you're told as a striker, get the rebound, slide in. That's what he's done there. Gyökeres has done exactly what he was meant to do. He's going for the ball. He thinks maybe he can reach it and get there. The only way he can get there is by sliding. I don't even want to get into physics, but forward motion and something that's like planted, you're going to hit it. So I don't even think that's excessive force. I just think that's part of the game. I don't think that should have been a yellow card. It definitely not a red card. And I think Gyökeres is unfortunate there because players will get told to make them kind of challenges to try and score goals.
OK, look, we're going to move on to